speak to the people who might be struggling right now. Maybe they have a profession or a skill set that they're doing, and maybe it's worked for them in the past, or they're on hard times, or maybe they're just kind of lost and trying to figure out financial freedom and fulfillment on their own terms. You started Entrepreneurs on Fire, from what I remember, as you were kind of like driving to work or something, and one of the podcasts that you were listening to, you reached the end, and that was it. And you were like, what do you mean there's no podcast that's 7 days a week? And so you created the first 7-day-a-week Talking to Entrepreneurs podcast that existed, and probably, I would imagine, still exists, or at least exists at the level that it does, right? Talk to me about what led you to kind of make that transition and step into that. And I'd imagine it took like an element of courage to be able to make that leap.
Well, first off, thanks for holding up the book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success. That really is kind of the, biography of the evolution of how I got to where I am today. And it's a step-by-step process. And so that is why chapter 1, says, hey, come up with a big idea. That is important. And that was my initial big idea driving to work that day was, hey, I love this podcast platform thing. Like, I'm going to start a podcast. Like, this would be cool. And then step number 2 in chapter 2 in that book is discover the niche within that big idea that is not being fulfilled. And when I kind of went to that step 2 mentally in my head, it clicked, to your point, when that episode ended, and I said, wait, this is a once-a-week show. It's Monday. The episode came out this morning. That means I have to wait 7 more days for another episode to go live. When I just got so much inspiration and value from that episode, I need one of those hits every single day. Like, am I getting in shape, hitting the gym once a week? No. Like, am I getting healthy, eating healthy once a week? No. It's all about putting in the reps. And so I'm like, I need to be putting the reps every single day. So I said, wow, well, I can search Apple Podcasts and the other, platforms at the time and recognize there were no daily podcasts. There were no shows that were doing anything more than once a week. That seemed to be the maximum for a lot of reasons. There's a niche. There's an opportunity that I can fill, a void that I can step into and be unique, be number one, be one of one. Meaning the day I launched Entrepreneurs on Fire, I was the best daily podcast in the world interviewing entrepreneurs. I was the worst daily podcast in the world interviewing entrepreneurs 7 days a week. I was the only daily podcast interviewing entrepreneurs 7 days a week. It was it. It was me, it was JLD, and nobody. So whether you liked me, you hated me, whatever it was, I was your only option in town. Like, that was it. And that's why I was able to get early traction, momentum, and I haven't given it up for 11 years now.